folks, it's J. Kyle Mann from The Ringer. And as always, basketball is so freaking good. It's so good, in fact, that The Ringer's NBA Draft Show is finally back just in time for a ramp up to June. We've got you covered every week as we take an in-depth look at who's got next for the NBA's future. We'll talk the rising and falling stocks of the best and the brightest prospects in the 2025 NBA draft class, from Cooper Flagg to Dylan Harper to VJ Edgecombe and more. Tap in with me on the Ringer NBA Draft Show every Wednesday and make sure that you follow, subscribe, and hit us with those 5-star ratings.
Welcome to the Ringer Fantasy Football Show. My name is Danny Heifetz, and I am joined by Danny Kelly and Craig Horlbeck, and I am back, baby. I'm back at a 2-week vacation in Europe, which we will talk about. I'll talk about it at the end of the show. Went to France, went to Switzerland, went to the Monaco Grand Prix. I was on a boat with Stefon Diggs. I will talk about all that later at the end of the show. But for right now, we're going to talk about everything that happened while I was gone. I'll admit it felt longer than I thought, right? Like, I feel like I was gone for...
That's the longest break we've taken in a long time, I feel like.
And which was only like 10 days, I think, between when these episodes are going to come out. But it felt like Heifetz was gone for 4 months. I would say both. It felt like a lot of things happened in the NFL and also not that many things happened.
Right.
But
almost nothing. And yet every day I was like, I kept writing down what I want to talk about.
Got to make content out of this.
It was the perfect amount of off-season content. Like everything that happened was really kind of classic off-season fodder.
And starting with nothing more classic offseason than this story, which is Stefon Diggs, who just a couple months ago signed a 1-year deal with the Patriots for $60 million. Stefon Diggs of the Patriots, not at voluntary OTAs, and a video went around of Stefon Diggs on a boat with a few women in bikinis. You can find the video online if you want. And he has them start with him. He's like, call me Big Daddy. Mm-hmm. And then whips out a plastic bag of pink powder, which, according to my sources, and sources being my friends who do drugs in Mexico, tell me that there's a pink powder you can get in Mexico called Tusi.
Oh, that's what I logged my hours on Spotify, Tusi.
That's drugs you can buy in Mexico or workplace platform. That's a good Tusi. Slim.
Yeah.
And so, it's like,
all the Steven Seagal movies are on Tusi. Check them out. They're free.
Yeah. Is it on Mubi or is Mubi or Tusi the mix of ketamine, ecstasy, and coke? Is that, Mubi or Tusi? I don't know. But so I also love they dye it pink because everything needs a brand now, like even drugs. It kind of looks like maybe they were just doing gender reveal, but
could have been Pepto.
Yeah, let's not jump to conclusions here. We don't know for sure.
Maybe he had an upset stomach and he had a small bag of Pepto.
Dude, so one of the replies was, "Calm down, Libs. It's Dramamine."
He's a little seasick.
Yeah.
Someone else replied and was like, "Wow, Lake Minnetonka looking great this time of year."
Also, you glossed over the fact that the women that he was talking to were not his girlfriend, Cardi B.
Yeah.
Which is apparently a drama.
Someone commented that one of the women might have been one of Cardi B's dancers. So Cardi B might have been on the boat for all we know.
What was he?
We don't know where
wrong,
Cardi
DK?
B was.
He was just talking to 3 women.
What do you think Liz would say if you were cajoling women into calling you Big Daddy?
While doing Pepto-Bismol.
Was it Big Daddy or just Daddy?
Well, they called him Daddy. He was like, we're on a boat, so I'm Big Daddy.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, Big Daddy is actually what he said.
Once again, my mind immediately went to the famous, the now infamous clip of, I forget who was doing this, but it was in the Vikings locker room, and they were asking all the players
Brian Robeson?
Whose sister, or who would you not want your sister to date? And everyone was like, oh, Diggs. Oh, God, Diggs. Definitely Diggs.
He went like 18 of 19.
Adam Thielen was
players
like,
Diggs.
Adam Thielen was like, that is not a man you want to bring home to your parents. But
Big Daddy,
to your Liz question,
aka Big Daddy.
Obviously, you're right. I would not want Liz to see me doing that. However, these athletes, these people are living different lives than us.
Sure,
they may have different standards, different rules in their relationships. We don't know.
Diggs has the NBA energy in the NFL. So maybe they have an Andre Kirilenko situation. You know what I mean?
Also, by the way, this did make it back to Patriots head coach Mike Vrabel, who was forced to comment on the situation. Great start. Not going to voluntary
Can I read his
OTAs.
quote?
Yeah.
It's a great quote.
Vrabel said, "It's something we're aware of, and obviously we want to make great decisions on and off the field."
That is a really good politics.
Such a good quote. The most neutral response possible is it's something we're aware of.
Yeah,
it's something we're aware of.
If we were doing the anger translator, it would have just been like, this goddamn fucking guy.
Oh my god!
Just get your ass to OTAs, pal.
Who was the person that tweeted like something with the Jets fan who was like, Mahomes is about to win his 3rd Super Bowl and my quarterback's somewhere in a dungeon doing crack.
Oh yeah, that was good.
I like this is old school though. I feel like, Craig, Rodgers hasn't even signed with the Steelers yet, and instead of making some Netflix documentary about ayahuasca, Diggs is doing it old school. He's doing drugs on a boat with like Instagram models. Like, that's old school. I love that from a receiver. Like, good for him.
It's Diggs and it's DiCaprio. Those are the only two still doing it the 90s way.
Yeah. It's old throwback.
This is the Odell thing didn't involve drugs, at least not explicitly.
Well, the Odell thing was fucking like 5 days before the playoffs. That was a little different.
You of all people would have been like, get these guys off of the boat. What are we doing here?
The Odell thing was in January. It was like 6 days before a playoff game that they lost.
That's fair. That's fair.
Oh my God. Anyway, shout out to that person who commented, dang, like Minnesota looking nice this year. That was incredible. Another thing that happened while I was gone. So Brock Purdy signed a large contract, 5 years, $265 million. This is crazy. So for context, the first 3 years of Brock Purdy's deal, he made $2.5 million
total.
So went from $2.5 million total to $265 million total. Nice. Love the 100x raise. He's now the 7th highest paid quarterback per year. I do just want to shout out, like, the Brock Purdy contract will probably forever be the best deal in the history of the NFL. Even better than Russell Wilson, because he was the last pick in the draft. He's like the lowest paid guy in the league. Even the undrafted free agents can make more money than Brock Purdy. So during the 3-year period, Brock Purdy was this is per ESPN, the 76th highest paid quarterback for his first 3 seasons of the NFL. And now he's the 7th. So, shout out to Purdy, who also, shout out Rodgers. Purdy said, really important for me to be here on phase 1 of OTAs. Really wanted to get that done. So, yeah.
What do you guys make of this? Craig, what's the vibe for all your 49er friends? Are they into this? Do they like this?
I would say mostly pretty happy about it. I think it was something that felt necessary. It obviously was going to happen. And again, so he's now the 7th highest paid quarterback. I think in terms of percent of the total salary cut for the Niners, he's actually lower than 7th. I think it's honestly a respectable deal in terms of where things are right now. Unfortunately, the window's probably closed. It's kind of really hard to have a quarterback making that kind of money and have the best team in the league.
Right.
Like, it doesn't happen much. Hurts and the Eagles are honestly a more rare example of a quarterback who got that big contract. The team is still great and they win a Super Bowl. Usually it has to happen in that window that Heifetz was mapping out, the Russell Wilson, the Brock Purdy, when he did take him to a Super Bowl. So although the contract needed to happen, I think this might be one of the biggest, like, is it the system or is it the quarterback arguments in the NFL right now? So I think just like the sticker shock of like Brock Purdy, $50 million a year sounds like a lot. But when you look at like the state of quarterback salaries and everything across the league, I think this is honestly something that needed to happen and is a respectable deal.
And the percentage thing you brought up, Craig, is important. Remember, if it's 50 sounds like a lot, it's like the NBA. It's like the numbers go up because it's a percentage of league revenue and revenue goes up. So it's the same as it always is. I haven't looked into it specifically. It's basically 16%. It's a 1/6 of the roster ends up going to the quarterback. That's more or less what the math becomes. Somewhere between a 6th and an 8th. And that's kind of what Diggs was doing too, probably. But this is one of the reasons the Niners lost so many guys was, the Niners, I mean, they traded Deebo Samuel. They traded Jordan Mason, the running back. They traded Aaron Banks they lost Aaron Banks in free agency as a guard. They lost Travarius Ward at cornerback, Dre Greenlaw at linebacker, Talanoa Hufanga at safety. They cut Malik Collins and Hargrave at defensive tackle. They cut Leonard Floyd at defensive end. Like, they lost like 8 to 10 guys in preparation for this. And I think the Niners have like 10 rookies that are projected to have serious playing time. So that's what this is about, is Purdy now needs to be, the guy leading the train instead of just being pulled along. And we'll see. I mean, he played really well last year. It's weird because you went from, look at all these weapons around him. And then suddenly they all went away in like one fell swoop. It was like McCaffrey's out and Ayuk is hurt, and like everyone got hurt at the same time. So it's funny. We've seen all or nothing from Purdy, frankly.
Yeah, but now it's like, looking at like Jaden Daniels is now the next example of like the quarterback on the rookie contract that they can capitalize on and win a Super Bowl with that. But with that said, I think Brock Purdy's good. The deal needed to happen. Makes sense.
And I will say, I don't think the Niners are some Super Bowl favorites or something, but Super Bowl's in San Francisco this year.
Yeah.
Niners have the easiest schedule in the NFL.
That is the thing that matters a lot. Yeah.
So that's interesting. Other thing that happened was gone. Tush Push survives.
Yeah.
Woo! The Tush Push not banned.
The skin of its teeth.
Doge tried to come in and get rid of the tush push, and it didn't work. And now Elon's out.
Yeah. That's good.
Oh my God. So the Tush Push, I mean, teams were quite literally butthurt about the Tush Push. I think that you can say that. And so have you guys seen the reporting?
Can you
about
say
this?
that? Will the woke mob come after you? Sorry, I've been listening to a lot of Aaron Rodgers on Joe Rogan.
Yeah, you did.
So I
You
say
did the
woke
Rogan
mob
prep
now.
for Rodgers. Yeah.
The woke mind virus. Yeah.
We'll get to that.
I saw that text and I was like, you know what I'm not going to do on vacation?
Listen to
It was only
3
3
hours.
hours.
Yeah.
So wait, is Rodgers in or out on germ theory?
They actually didn't discuss germ theory, shockingly. They were too focused on aliens and COVID.
I cannot wait to hear about the nanobots, Craig. Did you listen to the show?
Oh, I listened to the whole thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
my Lord.
Shoot, do it
put in
now
the
with
work.
Tush Push.
I know. Craig is like, what can I do when we don't have several shows a week? Oh, I'm putting in work. I'm listening to Rogan. Start
I'm
to finish
grinding.
on 1X.
It's off-season tape.
You didn't
I'm
even
grinding.
speed it up, I bet.
I 1.1. I needed a little juice.
1.1. All right. That's fair.
But I got it. Listening to Rogan suck on his nicotine gummies for 3 hours is not good audio.
Oh, my
Anyway,
Lord.
they feel great though. I'm amped up.
Send him
All
a
right.
note. All right, let's do the Tush Push first here. So, fuck it, should we just do
What
Rogan
happened
and
here?
Rodgers?
Hold on.
let's
Let's
go
get to
Tush
Rodgers.
because
Tush
Tush
Push.
Push is a big deal.
So
Yeah.
the Tush, it is a big deal. So basically, here's what happened. There's league meetings. There's 4 league meetings a year. It's quarterly, like real businesses. And they had one in March, and they tabled it to the May meeting. And what that means usually is the league is going to try to strong arm and get it done. Like when they vote on something in March, it's like yes, no. But if they're like we're going to table it for May, that usually means the NFL is going to rewrite it and strong arm to get it done. So a lot of people who go to those league meetings really were like, this means the NFL is going to get done. And again, it's the drive to ban the Tush Push is being done by the NFL, which again, there's the league office and the 32 teams. The league office wanted it gone. Whether it's Roger Goodell, whether it's Troy Vincent, there's a lot of reporting out there that says Goodell thinks it's ugly. Troy Vincent, who's like a league
Thinks
executive,
it's ugly.
he thinks it's ugly. That's the reporting. Is Goodell thinks it's ugly,
Oh, my God.
which is just hilarious.
I guess watching it is kind of ugly, literally. It's an ugly
It
play.
is. But it's funny because I've given the Packers shit about wanting it banned, but I have to admit
Most teams want it banned, or like a lot of teams.
22 teams
voted
voted,
for it,
yeah.
but they needed 24.
I saw the Seahawks voted against it, and I was like a little embarrassed. You know?
It's embarrassing.
It's like how
They're
like,
anti-tush.
it was an ick for me. Yeah.
So Jerry Jones, once again, a little too honest and said, I'm quoting Jerry Jones, here we are debating it and having to decide, am I really against the Tush Push or do I just want Philadelphia to not have an edge? And I sit
Honestly,
there and I fight that too.
That's a great quote
I
from
mean,
Jerry.
thanks for being honest.
And
Yeah.
in terms of why it lost, well, first I have to read. Did you guys read about like what happened in the meetings?
I
love
Jeff
No, that's
Lurie
what I was
stuff-
wondering,
Jeff
'cause it
Lurie
was-
just filibustering for an hour.
He did the Cory Booker. Just let's see when the
Yeah.
fucking book comes out from Jeff Lurie on this. So Jeff Lurie, who's the owner of the Eagles. I'm quoting from Seth Wickersham, who's going to be a recurring character in today's episode. But Seth Wickersham, who at ESPN always has these outrageous stories from the owners' meeting, and said that Jeff Lurie spoke for like almost an hour because Jeff Lurie thought that it was going to get banned. So Lurie he did like a filibuster. And among the things he said, Jeff Lurie said that this was a win-win for the Eagles because either they get to keep the Tush Push or the idea that they would have a play so successful the league banned it was, quote, like a wet dream for a teenage boy.
Is that what it's like?
And which
I don't know if that's like the best analogy.
and then apparently right around that point, like an hour in, the owner of the 49ers, Jed Yorks, apparently asks for a bourbon and says, how much more shit do you have to say to Jeff Lurie? It was like, wrap it up.
This could have been an email.
It worked. I mean, everybody was like, all right, if you shut up, we'll vote against it.
Yeah.
All right? Jesus.
Shut this guy up. Yeah, I was actually wondering that because prior to the meeting, the final meeting, there was all this reporting that it was going to get voted down. So
Yeah.
I guess there's this thought that maybe he changed some people's minds.
Well, so what happened was, two things happened. So, and Brooke Pryor to ESPN was reporting this. So Jason Kelsey came in, who obviously spent her whole career with the Eagles. And there was like ideas that, did Kelsey retire because of the Tush Push? And he came in, whether true or not, he was like, bullshit. If I could run it 60 times a game, I would come back and play in the NFL. But it was funny because he spoke about why he thought the tush push should stay. And the owners were like, I kind of liked hearing from the players. That was helpful, which I think is so fucking funny that the owners were like, wow, the players helped us with the rules. We should do that more.
This is like a good sense of what's going on out there.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is like, it reminds me of like Calvin's getting older and he's becoming more lucid. Like you can have more in-depth conversations with him now. And I'm like, oh, Calvin actually made a pretty good point there. It's like they look at these players like they're little kids or something.
Yeah. I want to pose a question to you guys about the tush push. I'm in support of keeping it, obviously. I don't know. I don't know if that's obvious. I don't know how people feel about that. I think the tush push should be upheld. With that said, if one team is good at it or a few teams are good at it, I think it makes the product better. It's like, we're playing the Eagles, the tush push team. The Bills are pretty good at the tush push. They have the quarterbacks who can do it, these big bodies. If every team was good at the tush push, like the Eagles had an 87% success rate. If every team could do that, would you then be against it? If every 4th and 1 was essentially a guarantee, would that hurt the sport if it was every team doing it?
My personal take on it is no, I wouldn't be against it because it means more scoring. More scoring is good, in my opinion.
Dingers.
I want to see them sock some dingers. However, I do think that if everybody got good at it,
if it's 3rd and 1, 4th and 1, it's basically for the entire league, it would be a guaranteed first down. Would that suck?
No, I don't think so. I personally I would like it because, again, like I said, it would mean more scoring, more offense, more plays. It's good for fantasy. Obviously, we're in that world. I think that at the same time, though, if the NFL at that point then tried to ban it, I think it would be more palatable for me because every team is good at it. Right now, it just feels like they're just punishing the Eagles for being really good at something.
That's why
to me, it would be more palatable for them to be like, look, we need to, for whatever reason you want to make up, player safety, it's ugly, whatever. We want to ban this play. It's less punitive to one specific team. I like that, actually.
Because it does seem like, the Eagles are specifically good at it. They have these big bodies on the offensive line. Jalen Hurts is a 1-of-1. They have it down. They have the leverage. Kyle Brandt spoke to Neil deGrasse Tyson about it.
Yes, incredible.
Who was talking about the physics of it and how when you have the leverage on the ground, it makes such a difference. And even that split second that the offense gets before the defense, it makes all the difference.
I'm not going to pretend to be a physics person, but force is mass times acceleration, and they get to go first. And so,
right. But again, then you asked the question, well, then why aren't other teams good at it? I would say it's because of like the size of the Eagles' offensive line, Jalen Hurts. Although Neil deGrasse Tyson said Jalen Hurts' like squatting ability had nothing to do with it. Because he was like, once he's getting pushed, he's like basically in the air, and it no longer matters how strong he is.
But he's not in the air. He's like going low and still grinding
agree.
it out. I kind of disagree with that, but I'm not going to get into an argument with Neil deGrasse Tyson. He's going to fucking own me.
I did my own
Instagram
research about that, and reel. I don't know. I think he might be influenced by the media.
This Instagram reel has been viewed 3 million times, and just people just fucking owning me. Yeah.
Do you guys think has a defense ever tried to tush push the defense to stop the tush push?
Oh yeah, no, it just doesn't work. That's what Neil deGrasse Tyson's point is about going first. That's what was going on in the NFC Championship game between the Eagles and Washington, because the whole thing is the Eagles have perfected the technique, which is essential and that is like the bar to ride the ride is you have to get the technique right on the push. Once it's there, once you go first and you get the snap count right, you win. That's what Washington was trying to do by guessing the snap count.
Yeah.
They were like, we don't care. The only way to stop this is to time it right. We don't care if we take the 7 flags in a row. That's why Frankie Louvu kept trying to jump over the goddamn thing, because he was like, I don't care.
But are they tush pushing? Like, are 2 linebackers pushing a defensive lineman the same way 2 running backs are pushing Jalen Hurts?
I just don't. I don't think it will work as well, because it's just not going to work as well.
I think you got to push back on the tush push with your own tush push.
Teams have tried. Like, if you watch, they're trying to shove defensive linemen in the ass. Like, they're trying, but like realistically, the Eagles are better at it. I think here's where I've landed on it. To your point, Craig. There's a world where this season, a bunch of teams practice it, and then everyone gets really good at it, and suddenly short yardage is like incredible, and it changes how it does. And maybe, it was cool when the Eagles and Bills were doing it, and like, but now that everyone's doing it, it's a little weird. Until we get there, I don't want to hear anything. I totally agree.
I totally agree.
There's 2 things. The Eagles won the Super Bowl. and you're going to ban it. Like, shut the fuck up. I'm a Giants fan. Do you know how much I hate the Eagles? The Eagles took Saquon from me and won the Super Bowl. Like, and I'm sitting here and you're making me defend the Eagles. It's
also
preposterous.
The funny thing about it
it
is the Eagles were actually the worst at it since they started doing it last year. The year they won the Super Bowl was their lowest success rate of the tush push. They were the best at it in 22, then 23, and their lowest, I think it was like 80. Whatever it was last year. They're theoretically getting worse at it.
Yeah, perhaps it's related to a running game where the offensive line had Saquon get 2,000 rushing yards. The other part of it, though, and I think the reason it lost is because, frankly, and the reason that made it so mad, and I've given the NFL so much shit for this, is the reasoning the NFL had for to ban the tush push was so on its surface, like, deceitful, where they were saying it was about player safety for a play where there was zero evidence that it's going to hurt, that it will hurt anyone. And again, now we've been covering the NFL. I mean, I've been covering the NFL for 10 years. DK, I don't want to even say for your sake how long you've been doing it, but like
40
a long time.
years for DK.
Yeah, 40 years.
I think since 2012 or 2011.
I have never heard more fake, like, oh my God, what about the player safety? It's football. Everything else is football. It's like,
dude, they're
it's
like
a dangerous game.
All right, we banned the tush push. All right. Let's talk about 18-week seasons.
Let's bring back kickoffs.
And it's like, and there's no data. And the truth is, they just think it's ugly. Goodell thinks it's ugly. Trey Vincent thinks it's ugly. And I think that's what, and I'm going to read from Diana
Goodell. Dude, what the fuck is Goodell?
But so Diana Rossini had a quote that was like, it was a vote about, this is her quoting an anonymous source who was in the meeting. It was a vote about process more than what was right. People don't like the NFL telling people to vote, and quote, health and safety was cited, but NFL Chief Medical Officer Alan Sills wasn't here today, end quote. Like, they were talking about player safety to ban the tush push and didn't bring that, like, fucking Alan Sills, the medical officer, to the meeting because that's so
because
fake.
they know he would have to say that it doesn't
Yes!
increase the chances of injury.
And so, honestly, I'm more willing. Raheem Morris was the only coach at the Combine who actually stood up there and said, I don't care. Like, the health and safety isn't a thing to me. I just don't think you should be able to push another playing football. I am so willing to hear that argument.
Yeah.
And that used to be a rule.
And it was that way for a long time. Yeah. I'm so willing to hear that and be like, this isn't how it should be. But, like, have the conversation in those terms. Don't pretend about player safety the year the Eagles win the Super Bowl that you want to ban. Like, please, it's so pathetic. You're like, get good at it. If you think it's this, like, unstoppable play, fucking get good at it. Oh, my God. Anyway, disgusted. Make me defend the Eagles at all this. Okay. And on top of that, Nick Sirianni got a contract extension. So,
good for him.
Eagles keep winning left and right.
Dude, the crazy thing about the tush push for the Eagles is they failed 9 times last year, but on 8 of those, they just did it again the next play and got it. So
I know, it was like on 3rd and short. They're like, fuck it. We'll do it on 4th and short.
If you add that into it, they literally have a 98% success rate.
Again, when I'm an NFL general manager one day, if my head coach ever and I'm like, hey, should we try the tush push? And my head coach is like, nah. Then I'm like, you're fired.
Yeah.
To me, the tush push like argument is so funny because there's so many times in football where you sit and you look at the TV and there's a team fails on 4th and short or 3rd and short. And you're like, how hard is it to get a yard? How hard is it to get a yard? And this team figured out a way to just get a yard 97% of the time.
I know. And everyone's fucking mad. Like, that's the truth. They were just mad about it. That's it.
They can't get 1 yard.
Do you think if the Titans were the best team in the league at the tush push, this would even be an issue?
0 chance.
Yeah. If they had the same success rate, all of that, no shot.
Speaking of people being mad, the NFL approved all these rules. The NFL approved that players can play flag football in the Olympics. So flag football is going to be an Olympic sport. And the question is, would NFL players be allowed to play? And the NFL owners decided, yes, the NFL players can play. There's a bunch of rules, 1 player per team. But that was a funny concept. This is the part of it that tickles me.
1 player per team, huh?
Yes. Okay. So, for example, like Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Joe Burrow, pick one. But there's a funny, we could talk forever about which players do you want to see in it. We could do that if you guys want. But the part of me that I think is funniest in all this is there's a controversy now between, the NFL players who would like to play flag football and the existing professional flag football
Team
players.
USA. Yeah.
Team USA, who wants to play flag football in the Olympics and have been working for this their whole life. And they're like, well, we want to play. And I'm just like, who's going to tell them?
Oh, you mean all these 140-pound pipsqueaks think that they deserve to play in the Olympics? Okay.
Well, there's a guy, Daryl Doucette, I think, who is like, I would be better at flag football than I am a better option for Team USA than Patrick Mahomes.
I love the confidence, honestly.
Do you guys think, because it is a different sport in theory.
Kind of.
Yeah. Do you think there's any chance of us selecting whatever. How many players are on a team? I don't even know. Is it like
it's like 10?
8, 10, 12?
It's wait, Stephen Reeves had a good article at The Ringer breaking it down. 1 player from each team, and then 10 players total, and the field is 50 yards by 25 yards.
Okay.
How many people are on the field? The 10 players on the field at the same time.
And the rules are quite different.
6.
It's
it's flag football.
Like you have to announce if you're blitzing, and you have to raise your hand if you're blitzing. It's
one Mississippi, 2 Mississippi.
Well, it's like, no, there's a guy that lines up like 10 yards off and he just gets a free shot at the quarterback, basically. And then I think there's like 5 receivers, but including the center can snap, and the quarterback can't run really.
I just wonder if, like, in my head, I'm like, the spread of United States versus Uruguay in flag football would be 87.5 points in my head. However, is there the miracle on ice when the underdog U.S. team beat Russia? Is there a miracle on turf potential here where we kind of like get cocky, waltz into a matchup, and lose to some random country who has a bunch of guys who know how to play together and know how to play flag football, and we have like Jamar Chase who just like showed up the week of and is like, I'll figure it out.
I actually think 100% possible because, like, I mean, obviously it's easy to, like, they'll probably win 100-0. But there's I mean, you ever watch OTA practices or like training camp? It's like there's always those stories of Jimmy Garoppolo threw 7 interceptions today. Like, yeah, if they guys don't practice a ton and they just show up, like, yeah, it's like maybe they're not going to be able to do it. Having said that, DK, our friend Mina Kimes had the best idea I've ever heard, which was the Pro Bowl should be NFL players playing the flag football players, and the winner gets to be Team USA.
You mean the Team USA flag football team?
So the existing pro flag football players that are Team USA get to play the NFL players in the Pro Bowl.
Some stakes.
And the winner of the Pro Bowl then
I might be forced to watch
USA
the Pro Bowl for the first time in my life.
The Olympic Bowl.
Yeah. The Olympic Bowl. And like they should play. And like I don't know. Part of me thinks there's a chance that the NFL players could lose that if they don't try.
Well, also they would have no time to prep.
Yeah.
I feel like the sport's close. I recognize and I understand that it's there's different rules and it's a slightly different game, all that stuff.
Slightly.
Yeah. I wouldn't say it's like a dramatically different game. Would you?
It's pretty different. There's no running game whatsoever.
I mean, yeah, you're throwing the football to a receiver.
But there's no, but
there's no contact,
like
right? I mean, there's no contact.
No,
there's like completely
whatsoever.
Different defensive rules. But
at the end of the day, you're a quarterback throwing a football to a receiver who's trying to make guys miss. Whatever. I think Occam's razor here. The NFL players are going to be fucking way better.
I mean, look, go ahead.
I'm like, who are we fucking kidding? This is ridiculous.
Honestly, so Stephen had a good article for The Ringer where he basically was like, here's how who's who to pick. And he had a good take, which was basically we need Kyler Murray should be the quarterback, Kyler or Lamar, because the most important part of being quarterback, frankly, is you just have one guy gets a free shot at you and you need to make that guy miss. And then honestly, if the receivers are Jefferson, Mike Evans, who wants to play,
need height,
and T. Higgins, there's no fucking way we're going to lose. Like, there's no fucking way.
This just reminds me of it's like, remember how back in the day, in the Olympic basketball team was made up of college players because the NBA players were pros and they were not allowed to play in the Olympics. And then when they put together the dream team, they let one college player, Christian Laettner, be on the team. Yeah. Like, I think they should just let one professional flag football player be on this team. But like, let's be honest, the pro NFL players are going to be way better at this.
Well, also, DK, I mean, famously, that 1992 Dream Team lost to a college team in practice.
Oh, did it really?
Yes.
Maybe, I don't know. Look, I'm saying I think like 90% sure NFL players are going to be better. I'm going to leave some open. I'll be open-minded that because of the nuances of the game and the rules, that maybe these other guys could be ultimately better just because they have more time together as a team.
It's just the grabbing the flags. It's really weird. You're moving your hips and shit.
I don't know, man. I mean, put Jamar Chase out there. There's some fucking random dude from like wherever trying to guard Jamar Chase. Like, who are we kidding here?
And this will also be in LA. Like, this will be at SoFi Stadium or something.
I mean, this is
it's like some semi-pro player from like Romania is trying to like guard.
We are going to this
Jamar
game.
Chase.
Like we're
definitely going. Stephen made a good point. We need Amon-Ra St. Brown on the team because otherwise, if we cut him, he's going to go play for Germany. And we need Kyle Hamilton on defense as the guy blitzing the quarterback, or else he's going to go play for South Korea. So like we kind of just hoard the American talent that way. And just cut everyone else off at the pass, and we're good.
Am I being overconfident? You guys think they?
No.
Overconfident of the NFL players winning football?
I'm just being a contrarian because I've been listening to a lot of Rodgers, but
yeah, he's just a free thinker.
Like if I had to guess what the spread is of the gold medal game, I guess I don't know how long the game is, but I mean, it would have to be
to bet on
50
America
points for me to think about betting the other team.
Right. Yeah, I don't know if that's enough. I mean, Alabama gives that to, like the Citadel. You know what I mean? Like, I think I need 70.
Yeah. I don't know anything. How long are the games? How long are there quarters, halves?
I don't know. We'll learn that like 2 days
this is the
before
only
they
reason
invented
I
the Olympics.
actually hesitate a little is because I don't actually know that much about flag football.
We're going to look that up in the Uber to the game in LA in July 2028. We're like, how does this work?
Also, this is funny because it's not for like 3 years.
Yes.
So anyway.
All right. Speaking of which, NFL schedule came out. We can go through. The Chiefs are the most primetime games again, so I think everyone's going to be sick of them. The Chiefs play Thanksgiving, Christmas, Brazil in week 1. First game of the season, Cowboys at Eagles on Thursday, September 4th. So we have a date, so things feel real.
It's kind of a soft opener to me.
Soft
matchup?
Yeah.
Cowboys, Eagles is soft to you?
Yeah. I think because the Cowboys weren't good last year. Usually it's two good teams.
Yeah. Usually it's like, this is the rematch we all wanted to see.
So it was like Ravens, Chiefs or something. To me, I'm like, what's the spread going to be in this game? 7.5?
Yeah, I guess that's a good point. Last time we saw Cowboys Eagles was the sunlight game, was the one where CeeDee Lamb couldn't see because of the sun.
Is that right?
Was the last time they played. Okay. The Cowboys, first team in 15 years to play the opening game, Thanksgiving Day and Christmas Day. And then Thanksgiving games are pretty sick.
Yeah,
Thanksgiving games, now that the Lions are good, Thanksgiving's unreal. Packers, Lions, Chiefs, Cowboys, Bengals, Ravens. Bengals, Ravens is the night game on Thanksgiving. That's pretty great.
That's fun.
Yeah. Christmas there's Cowboys, Washington, and Lions, Vikings, and some Chiefs game. I forgot. Chiefs, Broncos. 7 international games.
Ooh.
Most ever.
Fun.
Dolphins, Washington's in Madrid, Chiefs, Chargers in Brazil. Vikings have 2 games in 2 countries. Dublin week 4, London week 5 for the Vikings. And then, but
it's nice, just real quick. It's nice that the NFL is sending like good teams to Europe now.
Well, they're trying to expand the brand. I mean, it also ties into why this Olympic thing is happening. Like I think the NFL is very aware that if they have flag football with NFL stars, kids all over the country or kids all over the world are going to be more interested in football.
The NFL is on the precipice, frankly, of perfecting the domestic product and is now going international. Because I think once they add the 18th game, I think where this is all going is they add the 18th game and they give the players a second bye to agree to it. So that would take the Super Bowl and then
basically end of February.
But then you collapse that gap between the conference championship games and the Super Bowl from 2 weeks back to 1 week. So you get the Super Bowl and President's Day, and you have Labor Day. You keep week 1, but then Super Bowl's President's Day weekend. So now the Super Bowl's a 3-day weekend. You make the Super Bowl somehow even larger with the 18th game. And the Lions had a proposal that didn't go through, but basically that would reseed it in a way that I think the week 17 and 18 would be more competitive. And that honestly is like, to me, the final. Like that's the final destination with all of this is that it's kind of the perfect schedule for the NFL. And then now they're like, all right, let's take this shit global. And they're going to, so.
Yeah.
But honestly, the biggest schedule takeaway I wanted to have is the Steelers play in week 1, the New York Jets. So if Aaron Rodgers does sign with the Pittsburgh Steelers, that he would start literally week 1. It would be Justin Fields of the New York Jets versus Aaron Rodgers and the Pittsburgh Steelers. That would be week 1.
Do we know, is Aaron Rodgers, Craig, you did the research.
Yeah, what's going on
You did
here?
your own research. Is Aaron Rodgers going to sign with the Steelers or what? What's going on?
He literally didn't mention football one time in 3 hours on Joe Rogan.
What did he talk about?
Because he's an expert on so many other things, is why.
I'm actually shocked. We could just do it now.
Let's just do it.
I somehow was left disappointed. Like my expectations were low and they were not met.
Oh,
Rodgers, I guess maybe I know he's, I know about Aaron Rodgers, and yet I showed up and I listened to 3 hours, and he made Joe Rogan look smart and well read and researched.
Yeah,
the amount of topics Rodgers just throws out and then has actually no data or information on that topic before Rogan either shoots it down for being too outlandish or having a thought on it that Rodgers has never thought of. It's remarkable. Like Rodgers was saying shit that Rogan would say like, oh, I don't know if I believe that.
Like what? Rodgers has said some crazy shit.
I mean, for a guy who talks about how you need to do your own research a lot, he didn't have a lot of research on any of the topics that he was interested in. He would just bring something up. He'd be like, these people, he would always say, like, people are talking about, have you heard about the nanobots and the COVID vaccine? And Rogan's like, you believe that? And he's like, I'm not saying, some people are talking.
Just asking questions.
Some people are saying that there could be nanobots in the COVID vaccine. And
Of all
Rogan's
the-
like,
wait, what
I
do the
don't think I
nanobots do?
believe that.
My favorite conspiracy theory is the people who
Joe
like
Rogan.
Joe Rogan is like, I don't know if I believe the nanobots thing. That's kind of a bridge too far.
Dude, my favorite conspiracy theory is the people who are like, the COVID vaccine's to track you. And
Yes.
I'm like, have you ever heard of a fucking phone that
Yeah,
you carry
you're
with
reading
you
this-
all the time?
You're blindly hitting accept on all the cookies and everything that like are
You go to
necessary.
Europe and you like can reject the terms and conditions, and I'm like, oh my
all
god,
of the like
this comes up
automated
every time.
robots.
I've never once turned down a cookie offer. I always want
Dude.
cookies in real life and on the computer.
Jackie's mom can track her on the phone with Find My Friend. She got the exact chair we were sitting at the hotel. She found the fucking pool resort.
Jesus.
But yeah, it's the vaccine.
It was remarkable, and it's going to be really hard for me to root for the Steelers.
Now it is.
It was bad, guys. It was bad.
Dude,
It was really bad.
Did he bring up the fact that birds aren't real? Did they get into
No.
birds aren't
Did
real
he bring
stuff?
up that he thinks Fauci invented AIDS?
Yeah, there was some of that.
He
Yeah.
said that multiple times.
There's like the vaccine autism thing. He did a lot of like, they did a whole thing about like comedy and the woke mob, ruining comedy.
I can imagine Rodgers being really mad that no one laughs at his jokes. Being
You
like,
know
it's
what?
because
You
you're
know
woke.
what struck me is he's really unfunny.
Yeah.
Like, Rogan is, I guess, a stand-up comedian by trade, and I find him to be pretty unfunny. Rodgers is less funny than Joe Rogan. Rodgers has nothing. He's bringing nothing to the table. He just throws out some ridiculous theory that's completely unbacked by anything, has no even like fake research he could bring up to support it. Rogan either shoots it down or makes a joke about it and moves on. And they did that for 3 hours.
so
They probably hit 300 topics in 3 hours.
300.
Because there's nothing there. Everything is so thin. There's
Except football.
you can't get into it because
It's like a mile wide, a millimeter deep.
it will
on
be
every
exposed
topic.
so quickly that they need to move on. And you know what sucks is like 1 out of 20 things they're saying is probably true, but you have no fucking idea because the rest of it is so insane. So every once in a while you're like, oh, maybe there is something to that,
Dude.
But what are you gonna do?
Rodgers has alluded to hollow Earth theory. Like you know what I mean? Like,
Tell me about that.
that there's a civilization of people who live inside the Earth on the other side.
Oh,
like
that the Earth
weird-
is hollow. Okay.
Yeah, like Godzilla.
That's it.
Like that movie where King Kong's. Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
He's big on
right.
aliens, which sure.
So now
Look, I'm kind of big on aliens, Craig. I'm not gonna.
Yeah,
lie.
that's-
I don't.
We've talked about
begrudge
this a
him for
million
his
times.
Alien beliefs.
there's a huge difference between aliens exist somewhere in the infinite universe and aliens have been to this planet and aliens have built the fucking pyramids. Those are three different things.
I believe all of them.
It's just funny because Rogan will be like, yeah, I think aliens, I think we've been in contact with aliens maybe in the last 10 to 20 years. And then all Rodgers will say is like, maybe even since 1940. And then they don't talk about that
He
at all.
does say
Okay.
everything like
Can you
clickbait.
elaborate?
Yeah. They just move on.
He thinks he's wearing a trench
Wait,
coat.
is he saying
in
the
a parking
Nazis
garage.
were aliens?
No, I don't. That didn't come up.
What was his?
There was MK
yeah.
Ultra. There's a lot. The Sandy Hook got brought up, of course.
Oh, yeah. Well, he thinks that was a crisis false flag event,
Yeah.
which is where he lost me.
That's where he lost. I mean,
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, that's my
fair.
line.
That's fair. Okay.
Anyway, I don't recommend that podcast. That was tough. That was tough.
Okay.
Oh my god.
There was somebody that did like a summation of the things they talked about on that episode.
my
I was just
God.
like,
Well, and
I
that
can't
wasn't
believe this is like. Has he ever heard a conspiracy theory that he doesn't believe
I was
automatically?
going to say it's that's actually would be a good thing. What are the conspiracy theories you don't believe?
Which ones doesn't he believe in?
Yeah.
That's what I want to know. I actually would listen to a podcast about which ones he does not believe in. Like,
what's too far?
Aaron
for him?
Rodgers debunking conspirity theories, that would be compelling to me.
Men will literally think the Earth is hollow instead of going to therapy.
There's
What
a
is
line.
the purpose of the hollow Earth theory? Like, why does that matter?
Because you were told it's not, and he's fucking hates authority. I don't know. He just says Needs a hug.
I saw the recap of the episode, and the first thing I thought of was a line from True Detective from Marty Hart. It was just, at a certain age, a man without a family can be a bad thing. Like Rodgers, dude, he needs to do something else. He needs something that will take more of his time.
I thought you were also going to say when he's like, Marty turns to Russ Cole and he's like, I need you to stop saying weird shit.
Yeah, that too. That's a good one.
Craig by week 1. Trying to beat Justin Fields here. All right. Anything else on Rodgers and Rogan, Craig? I think we got a lot of that in your future, bud.
Yeah.
Gut check right now.
Wait, no, but
Mason
seriously
Rudolph
though,
or Rodgers?
is he going to be a Steeler?
I want Rodgers over Mason Rudolph. I'm not doing Mason Rudolph again.
Yeah, that's fair.
All right. Good luck with that. Buffalo Bills got Hard Knocks. I don't really have anything to say other than great. This is cool. What a lovable team.
I thought the rule was that the team wasn't allowed to be a playoff team the year before.
The rules are all made up.
I mean,
they fucking tried to go UNC and then Jordan killed it.
Jordan.
The points don't matter.
Yeah, Bills. That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean,
are they doing multiple Hard Knocks still? Is that
well?
Still
They're doing
a thing?
the NFC East is the in-season Hard Knocks, which they're following all 4 teams.
Yeah.
I guess.
Which was pretty solid last year. There's a lot of stuff that came out of that, but no, the offseason one's dead. Ain't no one signing up for that one at the Giants. That will be that will be in history books. Well, they don't have books anymore, but okay,
just podcasts, just 3-hour
PDFs.
podcasts.
Caleb Williams Viking stuff.
Mm.
Yeah.
So Seth Wickersham, ESPN, also has a book coming out in September. Called American Kings. Seth Wickersham's great. I have a few books behind me. One of them is the last book he wrote. It's about the Patriots. This one's about quarterbacks. And an excerpt, basically an early copy came out, and a lot of quotes came out from Carl Williams, who's Caleb Williams' dad. And it was about basically Caleb Williams' dad didn't want him to go to the Chicago Bears. And among the things...
Huge shock.
Yeah. And it's one of those where it's like, I get why Bears fans are mad. And I'm also like, you read the quotes and I'm like, yep. Yeah,
I know.
Yep.
It's one of those things where it's hurtful to read it plainly in words, but
yes.
in reality, you're like, I'm sure everybody thinks this going to a shitty team.
Yeah, if you take 3 seconds. Like, so among the things, so Carl Williams says in the book, Chicago's the place quarterbacks go to die. Okay, that's also what Jim McMahon said. He's the best quarterback in Bears history. Like, he said that too. It's probably where he got it from. Carl Williams said, I don't want my son playing for the Bears. Who does in that situation? Caleb Williams wondered aloud to confidants, do I want to go to Chicago? I don't think I can do it with Shane Waldron. Guess what? That seems pretty like football IQ right there, because he was right.
Waldron has been taking L's for 2 straight years now.
So Carl Williams, yeah, I know.
Dude, that really is.
Just drive by after drive.
Bless his heart.
Shane Waldron.
I mean, whether it is completely his fault or not, he is the scapegoat.
We should Shane, Are We Live Waldron should be his nickname.
Shane, Are We Live Waldron. So Carl Williams, who's Caleb's dad, talked to Archie Manning about going to how to force your way to another team. Carl Williams talked to labor lawyers about could he play for the USFL and then become an unrestricted free agent, which is something that happened like the first time there was the USFL in the 80s. And then this is the part that sounds salacious unless you think about it. This is quoting from Seth Wickersham. At the NFL Combine that year, Caleb Williams met with Minnesota Vikings head coach Kevin O'Connell. The two hit it off. And Caleb Williams began to dream of what it would be like to play for Minnesota. I need to go to the Vikings, he told his father. Let's do it, his father replied.
Bromance.
But they both knew a trade to a divisional rival was unlikely, and Bears GM Ryan Poles stood firm, telling Caleb Williams we're drafting you no matter what. So which only left one option, just talk so much shit about the Bears in Chicago that the city can't take you. And basically that's what John Elway did with the Indianapolis Colts in 83. He was like, I hate you.
Yeah, but that was in 1983. Like,
yeah. And it was
there was no social media.
Different world now. The NFL is like by far the biggest sport in the country.
Yeah.
And it would be a terrible look for him to do that.
Terrible.
Yeah. And so Caleb was basically like, I didn't want to, this is a quote, Seth Wickersham, I didn't want to nuke the city. And then so he told his dad, I could do it for this team. I'm going to go to the Bears. So all that.
You know the Russillo meme? I actually came away more impressed with. Like, I do kind of feel that way about Caleb. I'm all of your feelings are valid. And you ultimately taking the high road and being like, all right, fuck it. I don't want to ruin the city. I'll try to save it.
Yeah.
I respect it. It's admirable.
Yeah. Also, the most relatable thing ever was him talking about how he fell in love with Kevin O'Connell after talking to him at the combine. Craig, I remember you doing the exact same thing. You like watched a couple like interviews with him. And you're like, I love this guy. I would run through a wall for this guy.
Dude, Darnold was on the Carolina fucking Panthers. And then he ends up on the Vikings. They win 14 games.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it shows good taste from Caleb Williams that he's like, this is clearly a smart guy. I'll succeed with this guy. I have to shout out Caleb Williams. The way he handled this, I was very impressed. He was asked about it. He said, I want to address this because it's a distraction. He didn't deny anything he said. He acknowledged all of it. He was like, it's part of the pre-draft process. We didn't know. Yeah, it's like we had ideas and thoughts. And I think the most important part is the end of that story where I'm like, I want to do this in Chicago. That's the decision I came to. That to me is the point I want to emphasize. Mm-hmm. But I actually really respect it. He stood by everything he said. And he was like, yeah, I want to address it. I stand by everything I say. But like, I decided to come here. And again, in the pre-draft process, it totally makes sense you would think about all that. So, and he's like, and he also noted, he's like, yeah, the Bears have never had a 4,000-yard passer. And my word's not his. Imagine if I didn't notice that, in 100 years.
The other thing that came out that I thought was interesting wasn't there a quote that no one was with him when he was watching film?
Yeah.
No one was like talking him through watching film.
Eberflus and Waldron basically didn't direct him on what he was literally in like rooms alone, just like watching random film that he thought he needed to watch.
Right. Like it was up to him to decide and figure out what to watch and where
to watch. But it's also how. What you're looking for. Like one of the reasons Brady's Brady is Belichick taught Brady.
Of course.
Isn't that like the literal job of the quarterback's coach? Do they not have a quarterback's coach?
I couldn't.
I think that's weird. So I saw Kurt Warner came out and was like, no one ever taught me to watch film. And I can understand.
Yeah, because you were an undrafted free agent working at a supermarket. No one cared about you.
But I understand I could understand, I guess, why veteran quarterbacks would look at him and be like, dude, fucking figure it out, like self-start or whatever.
Well, he was trying.
At the same time, yeah, it's not like he didn't.
To be clear,
it's not like he didn't watch film. It's that no one was there with him, coaching him and talking to him about it. Everything I picture about what a coach does is like sitting there next to a player and talking through everything. You know what I mean?
It's not like he was publicly bitching about it. He was he was doing his job the best he could last year.
Right. Exactly. And so, I kind of came away from this and I'm weird. Like, that's very strange. And so Ben Johnson's now watching film with him. And you know what? Ben Johnson actually, the twin to the story is Ben Johnson did admit this week, another person who actually I kind of quickly respect for standing by what they're saying. Ben Johnson was like, yeah, I'm working on everyone with body language, including Caleb Williams.
I like this a lot. I thought that was one of Caleb's biggest issues this last year was just, I mean, there was a couple of times where he looked like he was legit shell-shocked. I don't know if that's necessarily his fault, but so much bad body language. One of the worst body language guys in the league last year. And it's great that Ben Johnson is essentially calling him out on it. And he's like, we watched film. We looked at some of the instances where the bad body language was showing up. And I asked him, is that what you want? And he said no. And so we're going to work on it. And
what about DJ Moore? Did he do that with DJ Moore?
DJ Moore is gone.
I think that's why they drafted Luther Burden, bro. I actually think DJ Moore walking off that play is why they drafted Luther Burden.
There's a lot of this is another thing that's kind of I've been going around the fantasy circles over the last couple of weeks is that if you read between the lines on all of Ben Johnson's pressers after the draft, it was like him calling out DJ Moore for being like terrible body language, walking off the field. They're in the middle of a play when Caleb's scrambling to his side. Yeah. Like, give me a break. But also, there was weird vibes all year. It wasn't just that play.
So I totally agree, DK. But yeah, I love the thing Ben Johnson said. No palms up. Like, not allowed. You're not allowed to walk around like, what's going on? He's like, that's weakness. It's disorganization. I'm like, yeah, that's true. So I am in on what's going on here.
I love Ben Johnson.
And I'm still in on all this. And again, I know we've been talking about this forever. The Bears are a succession family. There's like 9 siblings that all own like 4% of the Bears. It's fucking chaos. Wild. 5 of them work for the team, 4 just doing their own thing. It's a bit like, you're like, how could that be possible? It's fucking crazy what's going on there. They're all, anyway.
The more you learn about last year, the more I am willing to buy into Caleb and the Bears this year.
Mm. Yes, I agree. Speaking of ownership, a more somber note. So Jim Irsay, the owner of the Colts, died. He was 65 years old. The new Colts owner is, he has 10 grandchildren. He has a few kids, but Carly Irsay Gordon, who's his daughter, is the one who took over 11 years ago when Jim Irsay was suspended for a DUI. So she's seen as the person most likely to run it. It's believed that his kids want to keep running it. But I just want to shout out Jim Irsay because it's very, frankly, unlike the other NFL owners. I think it's safe to say Jim Irsay is almost certainly the last NFL owner who ever started his career as a ball boy in the locker room. Almost definitely, like he literally was like doing the laundry cart. Complicated guy, widely beloved in Indianapolis, one of the more candid, down-to-earth NFL owners. If there are any down-to-earth ones, as Jim Irsay, I mean, he boxed in bars when he was a kid. Like, tweet out happy birthday to players, would tweet out roster moves. Like, a huge collector. Like, he actually has maybe like the best guitar collection in the world. He was offered $1 billion for his guitar collection and said no. And it's
$1 billion?
Among other things. So he has like crazy. I mean, he has Muhammad Ali's gloves from the Thrilla in Manila. Like, he has crazy, and he's offered $1 billion from someone in the Middle East, and he said no. Traded a 3rd-round pick for Bill Polian. Pretty good move. Tried to airlift that whale from Florida to the Pacific Northwest.
I want to be clear. Like we teased him a lot about this and made fun of the whale thing, but also does that just kind of give you a good idea of his character? Like, he's trying to airlift a whale. He's trying to save this whale.
Dan Snyder's not fucking helping anyone in SeaWorld. And I will say, Jim Irsay was the only one. Jim Irsay was the only one who actually left the owners' meeting and talked to reporters and was like, Dan Snyder's got to go publicly.
Yeah.
Jim Irsay was the one who broke the seal. It was like, Dan Snyder cannot be in this league anymore. But he has a very complicated life.
Did you see what Reggie Wayne said? Reggie Wayne spoke to the media, and he was immediately started tearing up, talking about him. He basically talked about how much Irsay cared about the players, the team, the city, all that. This quote stood out to me. Reggie Wayne said of Jim Irsay, treated me like I was one of his sons. And so, like, I don't know, that's, obviously, like you said, a complicated guy, and there was a history of substance abuse and so many things and kind of some weird, he would have sort of weird outbursts at times, but he's going to be remembered as like a very good owner. And, I think, going back all the way through his life.
So Jim Irsay, so he told HBO he had been to rehab 15 times. And frankly, and it's in a way, he a lot of it was fighting his father's legacy. His dad, Bob Irsay, was honestly like one of the more hated NFL owners ever. He's the one who moved the Baltimore Colts to Indianapolis in the middle of the night. There's a 30 for 30 on that. And then Jim Irsay's dad, Bob Irsay, was frankly like, he was a mean drunk. Like, it was known that you couldn't come to, everyone had to leave the office by noon on Fridays because Bob Irsay would walk around and try to fire people while he was drunk. And it was like, there were stories that like Bob Irsay would like fire people, blackout drunk at like 10 in the morning. And then the next day it's like, where are they? And they're like, you fired him. He's like, I did. And it's like, he would call during the game, like a few drinks in, and be like, try to call plays and like bench players. And like, it was just a mess. So Jim Irsay basically was trying to undo this legacy. And like, I want to stay out of the way. I want to be. And so Jim Irsay was basically like, I'm going to do everything my dad didn't do. So he trades for Bill Polian and doesn't tell Bill Polian who to take for 10 years, and they win the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? Like, and so it was important to be part of the community, important to be gracious. And I think so much, frankly, he had a pretty complicated father, to be generous. And a lot of it was him just spending his life trying to do his best, while he had like a lot of demons in him too. But very beloved, I think, in Indianapolis. Yeah. And frankly, I don't think any family could have had like a more tarnished name in sports when he took over, especially the way they left Baltimore. But I mean, I think it speaks volumes when a lot of the players and rank and file are like, this guy was awesome.
Definitely.
Like, it wasn't very polished public statements. People were just sad that he was gone.
Yeah.
So
big time.
And he also said, we're keeping 100% of the team. I'm passing on my children. He said that a couple years ago. So, all right.
I think I saw a report today that his 3 daughters are going to now sort of take over. So yeah. RIP to Jim Irsay. And shout out for being the one who actually said Dan Snyder's got to go. Last thing that happened here of any seriousness, and we'll get to a bunch of dumb shit. This is so boring, we can cut this if you want, but I don't think any other fantasy show is going to talk about this. But this was in the New York Times this morning. The House bill that passed for the tax code for Trump. I'm reading from the New York Times. Tucked in it is a tax code could potentially cool the current frenzy among the wealthy to own professional sports teams. For decades, owners of teams in the NFL, NBA, and other major leagues have been able to write off the entire value of their team's intangible assets, which include player contracts, media rights, and sponsorship deals over 15 years. And under the House tax plan, team owners would be able to deduct from their taxes only half the value of those intangible assets over the period, which it was introduced a couple years ago. That can amount to hundreds of millions of dollars. Blah, 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 blah. What that means is when they pay the $200 million in salary, it's like a tax shelter. It's like a tax haven. And the bill would cut that of what they can do in half, which functionally speaking would give the government a tremendous amount of leverage over sports owners. That is like functionally what it is, which I don't know if anyone gives a shit about it. I was going to say, is this because they wouldn't let Trump have an NFL team or whatever the XFL team?
I think they want teeth if there's another kneeling thing, to be totally honest. I think that's functionally what this gives the government is there's like, hey, you want that half back? You know, behave. That's functionally where what this is. It's very interesting. So we'll see if it passes the Senate. I don't know if anyone gives a shit about that, but intrigued me.
Rogan and Rodgers did not touch on that.
Oh my God. All right. Okay. Other stuff that happened, and then I'll take us about get emails and tell you guys about my trip. Around the Horn ended.
Yeah.
RIP to Around the Horn.
Yeah.
And a lot of people have talked about it. But I mean, me, like everyone else, would come home from school and like watch that shit, and it was unbelievable, influential.
Yeah, the
So shout out to
PTI
everyone.
into the Around the Horn was like the sports version of when I was like that sweet spot in comedy and on like NBC. I remember when I would get home and it was like Community, 30 Rock, Parks and Rec, The Office. The version of that on ESPN was the Around the Horn PTI window. Just one of the all-time great sports concepts, that and PTI.
Yeah. So anyway, unrelated, we're going to start doing a scoring system on our show.
Yep.
Where we have one person be the judge. This is
Deek is going to figure out how to
unrelated.
mute me.
Oh God, that would be amazing. Actually,
Kai is going to be Tony Reale.
Yeah.
And we're calling it Near the Horn.
Near the bell.
Yeah.
Around the Horn's a great name for a sports show, by the way.
Yeah.
It's a sneaky great name for that concept.
Yeah. Just works perfectly.
Yeah. So RIP to Around the Horn. I'm also I have on more than one occasion pitched to you guys trying to steal something they've done, including I have forever wanted to steal they did on a April Fool's Day one year. They did the whole show backward.
What do you
I think
mean?
we ended up like they just
We
started
did the
with,
Memento episode.
yeah.
Backward.
So I think that was when we did Memento. That was really what we stole it from. We did one year the Memento tattoos. We did the whole show out of order.
So they started off with the winner?
They started off. They threw Tony Reale the paper. And he caught it instead of him throwing at the camera. And then they cut to the winner, and then they went back.
Were they like? Was he taking away points throughout the show? Is that?
Yeah,
That's fun.
yeah. And I was 12, and I was like, "This is sick." Anyway, all right. Other things.
Speaking of RIP,
Yeah,
Marvin Harrison Jr. is ripped.
dude.
Good one.
I'm a
Craig.
little freaked out, but so Marvin Harrison Jr. is absolutely cut right now. Craig,
His arms are fucking huge.
He
Is
is
this good or bad?
massive. DK, as a Seahawks fan who watched DK Metcalf, when you saw DK Metcalf get drafted, does that physique, or are you like, this is a good thing for a wide receiver, or is there too big? Is that such a thing?
I think in DK Metcalf's case, no, it was not. There's no such thing as too big. Like it was like this guy's larger than life.
Isn't
I think-
Metcalf's the whole thing alligator arms? He can't do
DK
catch point stuff.
Metcalf is not as strong at the catch point as he looks like he should be.
Right.
Yeah.
That makes sense. I think generally speaking, when you hear of a player getting bigger or getting ripped or gaining weight, that's usually a bad thing. I feel like most of the time that's a bad thing. It happens all the time with receivers and running backs where like, oh, so-and-so put on 10 pounds of extra muscle this offseason to try and like deal with the rigors of an NFL season, and then they're just slower. You know what I mean? And it's just like this doesn't actually help anything. It's worse.
And we can't overstate how big Marvin Harrison Jr. looks.
His arms are massive.
He looks like a superhero in these clips. And apparently, according to him, he didn't even mean to do it. It just
It's
happened.
just all in his biceps.
He said he basically is like, I guess I wasn't eating that much in college. And
Yeah,
I'm
he's
eating
like,
more now."
I don't know, I've been working out and eating more protein, I guess. And I'm calling bullshit on that. Okay?
Same. That's such horse shit.
Give me a fucking break. That does not just happen by working out more and eating more protein. That is a deliberate plan to put on pure raw muscle and look like a superhero.
Craig, gut check. Is this just related to him having a disappointing season and people making fun of him online for being a bust? And he's like, I'm
Yeah,
going
he
to get
needs a new
swole.
look. Yeah.
Like, is there like, I don't know. The more part of me is like, oh, maybe they think his arms need to be huge. And part of me is like, he's probably just embarrassed.
Yeah, it's just a rebranding, you know? Happens in Hollywood all the time. Remember
Like the pink drugs, everyone needs a brand.
Yeah. If he's ripped now, everyone's just going to talk about how good he looks for the entire offseason, and no one's going to talk about, his disappointing rookie campaign.
Didn't Nanjiani do this too?
Well, that was actually for a superhero movie.
Yeah, but it was for him.
That was one of the all-time weirdest transitions from pre-ripped to ripped. Kumail Nanjiani. He's still ripped. Look him up now. His
he
jaw's
still ripped?
completely
I
different.
saw the pictures of him and I was like, is this like a Photoshop? What the fuck is this?
Yes.
Yeah,
He's got like an 8-pack.
Dude, also the veins on the arm are unbelievable.
He's massive.
But ultimately, so I'm reading the quotes. He says, I put on some pounds. I think I added some muscle. Then it goes on to say he doesn't.
I'm like, look at you. You look like the Hulk. What are you talking about?
He never set out to do it. This is better. I will say this is better than the normal thing at this time of the off season where you're like, oh, that guy got fat. So that's better than that.
I feel like, I guess so.
But he does say in this ESPN story, from Josh Weinfuss that you don't want to he says, quote, you don't want to put on too much weight and then your body may not be used to it. But I feel exactly the same as I did before. So at least he's aware, like he needs to keep his speed up. Like the speed thing is more important than having big biceps.
It's also late May. Like by the time August rolls around, he could be back down 5 to 10 pounds and have kept the muscle he wanted. So like this might be fine. But him just showing up at this presser and being like, didn't even realize, do I look different?
So do I?
Come on.
I will say, like after watching him as a rookie, like he could get a little stronger. Like it's probably a good thing that he's getting stronger.
Yeah. It's like White Goodman. It's like you reading
all
the dictionary?
in his bicep. His biceps are massive.
Yeah,
huge.
Speaking
of alligator arms.
Yeah, speaking of alligator arms, the alligator from Happy Gilmore died.
Damn.
Morris
wrote this in here. I had no idea that guy was still alive, that gator.
Craig, we talked about
30
this,
years.
I thought.
Did we?
Talked about it on the show before.
Yeah.
How he was like one of the older alligators, like 80-something years old, wasn't he?
How
old was he?
Sorry, his acting career was like 30 years, but yeah, he was the gator was shit. Gator, honestly,
you got
Gator was older than Jim Irsay, which is fucking weird.
You
Gator was 80.
I got that bastard's eye though.
Even like not Happy Gilmore, even Adam Sandler like quote tweeted the story and was like, "Damn, sorry to see you go. R.I.P."
I got that bastard's eye though. You know what's the best part of that? Every time I watch, there's something new. Have you ever looked at the jar? Is so gross. It's like the oldest, rattiest mason jar with like yellow fluid and a nasty eye.
Oh my God. You're pretty sick, Chubbs.
Pretty sick, Chubbs.
Got that bastard's eye, though.
I got that bastard's eye, though.
You got one eye.
Chubbs, you took his hand.
He beats up an alligator and then he drops an elbow on it at the very end. You could just tell it's like very obviously just a blow up alligator.
How drunk do you think I have to be to enjoy Happy Gilmore 2? How many beers should I have?
I was gonna. We should do a live watch.
I think 3 drinks in at least.
I think I need like 6.
You need some
to love
Tusi.
that.
6.
Yeah. I love Happy Gilmore so much. I'm so nervous about the sequel.
We should do a live watch.
The trailer looks pretty good. I'm not gonna lie.
I don't know. I don't trust trailers.
They got all the golfers.
I mean, you can't trust trailers, that's for sure, because it's probably like all the best moments of the movie. But I don't know. Got me going a little bit. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay.
I'm gonna see it.
So we were just texting for like 2 weeks about we should put this in the show when I come back. We should put this. And Craig said Tom Cruise popcorn. And I was like, no idea what you're talking about. I'll learn about it on the show. I did watch the Mission Impossibles. I'm going to go see it, but like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, I think I'm actually going to go see the new one tonight. I heard it's pretty mid, but I always enjoy the Tom Cruise press tour because they basically figure out any way they can to have him not talk about anything real. And this press tour has been all about popcorn. He's always said he likes popcorn, but this one's been really heavy on the popcorn. All he talks about is how much he loves eating popcorn. He loves going to the movies, sitting in the back, and just devouring an entire bag of popcorn. He loves popcorn.
Heifetz, when you were away, when you were in Europe, the internet was ablaze with talk of Tom Cruise, the way he eats popcorn.
There's a shot of Tom Cruise.
What is he, like Kelsey Plum eating hot popcorn?
Shot of Tom,
Craig can explain
honestly,
it,
it's crazier than Kelsey Plum. There's a shot of him maniacally throwing popcorn into his mouth, standing and kind of nodding like
every
a
single
supervillain.
kernel gets thrown.
He's hitting like 1 out of 4 kernels is hitting his mouth, and he loves it. And
if I'm going to like break down the all-22, he grabs a huge handful.
Yeah.
He kind of like shakes it in his hand like he's got dice in there.
That's a classic dad move, though.
And then he's like chucks it into his mouth.
Yeah.
You know what it reminds me of? Do you know the Ben Stiller impression of Tom Cruise where he's just like way over the top and like everything is hilarious? Like it looks like Ben Stiller would be eating popcorn as Tom Cruise.
They've kind of they've smoothed out all the edges of Tom Cruise over the last 20 years.
With his face and personality.
Yes, but they forgot about the popcorn. Old Tom Cruise comes out when
Wait,
he eats the
Are
popcorn.
you saying it's old Tom Cruise and this is the last vestige of like his old life?
This
or
is him
like
standing up on the
manicured-
couch or standing up on the couch, screaming, waving his arms about.
You don't think this is
eating
like
popcorn.
a bit choreographed to go viral? Like
I
the
don't
way
think
we're
the
talking about
way
it.
I don't think the way he's eating popcorn was manicured. I think perhaps him talking about it a lot was because he like
real
loves
Tom
theaters.
came
and
out.
You're
going
telling
to
me the
theater.
guy who drove a motorcycle, who practiced driving a motorcycle off a cliff,
Yeah.
you don't think he practiced this popcorn thing?
No, definitely. I think he's just a psycho about popcorn, loves popcorn, and that's how he genuinely eats pop. I think that was just kind of an in the moment thing. It was just a moment of passion of him throwing popcorn in his
Wait,
mouth.
should I watch this right
I
now?
love the way he eats it.
And
so
then there
much.
was another clip of him walking out on stage to, at some theater, and he sees a guy. The movie hasn't started yet, and there's a guy with an empty bag of popcorn, and he like stops to address him, and he's like, "Hey,
double taked.
you finished all your popcorn. The movie hasn't even started yet," which I have to say, I respect and relate to. I don't know if you guys know this about me. I do not have a single kernel of popcorn until the movie begins.
It's like sacrosanct.
Really?
Yes.
To start once the movie starts.
To me, the joy of eating popcorn while watching the movie is unmatched. I love it. It makes the movie better. And the people who buy the popcorn, they sit down and they hammer it down while the trailers are going. That makes no sense to me.
I gotta tell you, I don't like that because
sense
I
to
feel
me.
like I feel crazy sometimes because I feel like the popcorn, I don't know the words for popcorn, but the brown kernel part inside,
The kernel.
is that the kernel? What's
Yeah.
the other stuff? The corn?
Well, they're popped kernels.
Okay. Well, the kernel I feel like gets stuck in my throat. And so I disproportionately kind of choke, not choke, but you know what I mean? You get like, it's like, I just feel like I need to, like that. I need to drink water.
Yeah.
So I feel like I'm hammering water to this popcorn and I'm like, shit, I got to go pee.
I've actually mastered
it's a vicious cycle.
I've
Yeah, I
mastered,
know.
I've mastered eating popcorn without needing a drink. That's the key.
It's ironic because you're
By
the
way,
one who
in
has
case
the
you don't
throat
remember,
issue.
Craig is like obsessed with popcorn.
It's
There's
my
times
favorite
where
snack.
You'll just like he'll skip a
true.
meal so he can eat like a huge thing of popcorn.
I can't. Tonight, my dinner will be popcorn at the movie theater, and I'm fucking
Wait.
thrilled.
I love
Now
how
I'm
much you
watching
love
Cruz eat
popcorn.
popcorn.
But I'm telling you, give it a shot. Don't eat popcorn until the movie begins. You'll like it.
I was telling you this, Craig. My version, I don't get popcorn when I go to the movies. I get candy, and my go-to candy is just a box of Reese's Pieces. Which, by the way, at the movie theater I go to, or maybe this is standard, it's like way too much Reese's Pieces. Like
It's always like that.
it's a huge amount of Reese's Pieces, and I just pop those things into my mouth like it's a metronome, and like I'm done almost by the time the movie
like,
starts.
what is the joy in that? You're like
It's all
binging
flavor all the
Reese's
time
for 5 minutes.
Really fucking good.
Craig,
is
what's
like
the joy
addicting.
in chocolate and peanut butter?
But like, if you're sitting somewhere for 3 hours, don't you want to eat during the movie? What's the point of just
No.
drinking Reese's Pieces for 5
Are
minutes?
you asking my rational, logical take
Craig,
on
it's
why
a
I eat
prime-
Have some
chocolate?
It's a prime
self-control,
as if
for
my,
Christ's sake.
as if my lizard
Hunger.
brain is not running the show.
Jesus, have
It's
some
like the-
self-control.
It's like the fucking experiment with rats and cocaine. I just
Yeah.
keep going back to it
What
until I'm
are you
fucking
talking
dead.
about?
I'm pushing that button. I want every
Oh.
Reese's
I
Pieces.
want Craig on that boat with Stefon Diggs. Don't you have any self-control, Stefon? What are you fucking talking about?
Some self-respect.
Uh,
I love that. The way that Craig is almost exactly the same as Tom Cruise. This is at least one way.
that's where
He
we
was
align.
just
The Venn diagram
flabbergasted.
only crosses
Flabbergasted
I love
that this guy.
popcorn.
Craig is obsessed with popcorn.
I love it. It's my
Is the
favorite
moral
snack.
of the story.
I make it at home. I have a whirly pop, which is
Do you,
like a
so are you
thing.
making? Do you like any of the supermarket stuff, or you just like you want to
No.
make your own popcorn hot? Do you add butter or salt or anything, or you just go like out of the bag?
Yeah, I
Or-
melt butter. I do salt, pepper, Parmesan cheese. I grate my own
Oh,
Parmesan cheese from the
Parmesan.
block
That sounds
onto
good.
the popcorn.
That's elite.
I have
pretty
it.
sick.
I literally have it down. My grandma used to make us popcorn growing up. It's a family thing. Like growing up watching Everybody Loves Raymond on a Thursday night. Like my family would just eat a light dinner and then we'd all make giant bowls of popcorn and watch TV. And it was the best. And we
that's
make it
funny.
on the stove and it's great.
That's sick.
You know who
All right,
else?
I love that.
Favorite snack? Popcorn? My guy, Steph Curry. Favorite snack.
Another area which the Venn
Yeah.
diagram is very
Just two guys who
specific.
can go 3
Yeah.
for 5 from 3 in an NBA game.
God fucking damn it.
3 for 5.
It's so specific.
God damn it.
God, I seriously, it makes me happy to think of Tom Cruise just popping the popcorn in his
Well-
mouth. There's no one like genuinely enjoying themselves more than that moment than Cruise.
While we're talking about
Did you see it? He went on McAfee. Did you guys see that?
Cruise went on
Yes.
McAfee? What did
No,
they
what'd he
talk
say?
about?
For 30 minutes.
What was that? Was it better or worse than Rodgers on Rogan?
God, it's close because
Who has more to say?
Well,
Rodgers or Tom Cruise?
Rodgers covered 300 topics in 3 hours, and Tom Cruise covered one topic in 35 minutes, which was how much he loves movies. So they didn't.
He
didn't
genuinely
really let-
does love movies, right?
Yeah.
Why
that's
didn't he
the
go to
thing.
the Oscars last year?
Why didn't he?
Tom Cruise.
Why would he have?
Wasn't he nominated for something?
Oh, you mean 2 years ago for Top Gun? He didn't go. He wasn't nominated. The movie was.
that he
people-
made.
Yeah, he produced it. People were upset he didn't go. I don't know why.
Anyway, I know that's a real
Sometimes
question.
people don't want to go and they know they're going to lose.
I will say this about Tom Cruise. I saw some quote from him recently where he was like being interviewed on the red carpet and he was talking about competency, how it's like a discipline and you have to, and the way that he approaches like doing his stunts and everything. He's like, I'm not afraid because I wish I had the quote from me because it was pretty interesting, but it was like basically just, I practice really hard and I master something. So I have competency with it and it's not dangerous because I'm competent doing things that and I thought I was like, actually like, wow, that's actually kind of cool. Cause I haven't heard, it's so everything is so manufactured with him. I was like, that was pretty cool. And he obviously takes it very seriously.
In like a bizarro world, like his brain and Pete Carroll's brain are the same.
Totally.
Totally.
Yeah.
They just kind of went down different paths.
Can I admit something?
I can't wait for what you're about to say.
Deeply unpopular. This might get me like really
No,
docked
I think
on
I
my
know what you're going to
trajectory
say.
at
Do you
this
want me to
company.
guess? I can feel it coming. You're going to say the original Top Gun is not that good.
No, Top Gun's great.
Oh, okay.
The Mission Impossible. I got to tell you, I was rewatching some of them for the new one. And I'm like, I know all the lore of Tom Cruise spent so much time doing these stunts so he could do it on his own. And I was watching it and I was like, they probably should have spent more time on the fucking dialogue. I'm like some of the plot stuff. I don't know. I'm watching it and I'm like, having seen John Wick, I just feel like I'm like, oh, it's
you
kind of boring.
particularly enjoyed the dialogue in John Wick.
Well, there's less of it, and more fighting. It just flows better.
I feel like
I'm thinking I'm back.
That's kind of the worst movie you could have chosen.
Well,
for
not dialogue. Dialogue's the wrong word. I don't know. I was watching Mission Impossible.
Once every
and kinda
20
like,
minutes, John Wick goes, yeah.
All right, dialogue's the wrong word.
It's parody. It's like
No,
hilarious
look, I actually, to be honest, Heifetz, I kind of agree with you. I like the Mission Impossible movies. They've never been my favorite action franchise. I've always had a bone to pick with like the cop out of the fucking masks. I always thought that was lame. Like you could put any character in any situation and then in any moment they can just take off their mask and they're somebody else. I just always found that.
And
Deus Ex Machina or whatever.
Well, the other one was like I was watching Ghost Protocol, which, and I know some of them are better than others. I'm not trying to say all of them.
Fallout's fun and really good. I think like the people like the Ghost Protocol, Rogue Nation, and Fallout, people in the original, I think are the four favorites.
Do you guys think that the missions are impossible enough? Aren't they like 8 for 8 or whatever? How many movies are there?
8. Well, and the villain for the last 2 is like some AI syndicate.
Seems like maybe the word doesn't mean what you think it means.
Yeah, like kind of like infinite for me. Kind of like
I don't think I don't think that word means. What is it from Princess Bride? He's like inconceivable. I don't think that word means what you think it means.
I was just watching Ghost Protocol, and Ethan Hunt's like, I know, like we have to give this terrorist the nuclear codes now because he'll definitely get them later. And I'm like, that's the stupidest shit I've ever heard.
It's the
dumbest thing I've ever heard. And there's this whole argument about it with Jeremy Renner. And I'm like, fucking don't give it to him, Jeremy. What do you do? It's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Make him earn it.
Yeah, I think, you're kind of there for the vibes. You're there for the stunts. How many action franchise plots are you like, they nailed that one?
Yeah,
Fast
I know. I'm just really, it's everywhere. So I'm being contrarian. I know. I was just watching them and I'm just like, I'm kind of bored. That's all.
No, I mean, I've heard this new one is like 2 hours, 50 minutes.
It's all chase
scenes. I heard the first 90 are just like a slog and the plot's all over the place.
Okay, so I'm ahead of the curve. Okay. All right. I'm sure a lot of people are mad at me forever now.
The stunts look insane. So
that's what John Wick got right. Just do that. Take everything else out.
That's why I'm going to the movie.
And what John Wick does really cool is it's very stylized. There is a visual style that you associate with John Wick. It's these like dark color, or it's always dark. These like neon blues and reds. Everything's like wet at night on the street. It just looks cool.
Yeah, or
And-
it's like they're chopping up sushi, or when there's not fights, it's like Russian ballet or shit.
They're
It's just
having a
always-
battle in a giant knife museum.
They're always in nightclubs.
Yeah, yes,
just, like, really
just-
cool.
It's like Eastern European nightclubs.
I
Yeah.
feel like I'm scrolling, even though I'm not scrolling when I watch John Wick. It's great.
Right.
It's
Flashing
yeah.
lights. Yeah.
Yes. Anyway, that's all. That's all right. I'm sure I'm gonna get canceled.
Heifetz brought up John Wick for the dialogue.
There's no good dialogue like in
thinking that
John
I'm
Wick.
back. I know a lot of people have been asking. It's like Rodgers. Many people are saying.
That is a cool line, but literally most of the movie, he's like, no.
All right.
I'm excited for Ballerina. I'm going to go see that next week.
That'll be sick. Couple emails here. Actually, we got a few.
The topic of this email is pretty great. I have
Which
no idea
one?
where this is going. Selena Gomez Oreos,
Oh, that one's it. It's Selena Gomez's Oreos.
like a flavor.
Yeah.
Let's
So
guess
it's-
the flavor. DK.
Oh,
go.
yeah, sure.
I don't think I should.
Don't think
I don't think I should guess.
Is it like the Gwyneth Paltrow candle, or is it
I don't
different?
know.
Hopefully.
I
Oh
can't tell
God,
if
Craig! Is it
Carmelo
like
Anthony and Kevin Garnett with the
Wait,
Cheerios?
the Gwyneth Paltrow candle smells like a vagina. What was it?
Specifically her vagina.
Her vagina.
Yes.
Right. Correct. Sorry.
Right. Because yeah.
Not just any vagina.
No. How would you quantify
Right.
how all of them?
Not
It's her vagina.
particularly of hers. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Let's guess though. What would Selena
TK's
Gomez?
like, I don't think I should.
I don't think there's a way I can win this one.
I'm gonna go with.
Do you want a hint?
Yeah, give me a hint.
Well, the hint is just anytime there's like famous people attached, they just make it sugary. So like when it's Ted Lasso with Jenny's, they do like butter.
Sugar.
It's sugar. It's like it's just loaded. It's a very sugary flavor.
I'm gonna say chocolate.
Chocolate cinnamon flavored, and there is chocolates, and so the cookies are chocolate cinnamon and come adorned with 5 music-inspired designs, as well as Gomez's signature. Inside, there are 2 different flavored creams. One is chocolate cinnamon, the other is sweetened condensed milk, dappled with cinnamon sugar.
I mean, I'd eat that.
Yeah, chocolate and cinnamon don't go to me.
Well, I think Oreo spent a lot of fucking money testing it, decided it worked. So it's
Or
kind of like the Tom
yeah.
Cruise movie.
Like how many
I've heard they're
chocolate
good.
cinnamon desserts can you think of?
Horchata?
Churros?
Horchata's not chocolate.
Churros. Churros is the answer.
Yeah, but that's only if you dip the churro in chocolate. A churro
That sounds
itself is-
delicious.
But
It's
well,
not
yeah, that's
chocolate.
the best way to enjoy a churro. Cinnamon and chocolate. This is coming back around. What was the other thing Craig didn't like with chocolate?
I don't like mint in chocolate.
That's
see,
fine.
I'm okay with that. I like a York
No,
bag.
Craig's the one who doesn't like fucking chocolate and peanut butter at a movie theater. He's like, why are you eating it, psycho?
I didn't say I didn't like the flavor. I just think like pounding a
Science candy at the
He said
movies,
it's
DJ.
sacrilege
Box of
if you
Reese's
eat it
Pieces
before the movie starts.
before the trailers even run while they're still running
Psycho.
AMC ads is a bit much.
Please.
This is the whole argument of like tipping picks during the draft versus not. I'm like, I just want the fucking chocolate in my mouth as soon as possible.
DK's like elbow deep in a bucket of Reese's Pieces while an AT&T ad is playing
I
before the
just
trailers
want-
even start.
That's making me enjoy the fucking boring part, and then I can enjoy the movie, and I don't
That's
have to worry
also how
about
I
eating.
felt the entire NBA playoffs. Is like what someone pointed out to me, and I can't get it out of my head now. Is no basketball games start on time,
yeah.
which I think I knew, but had never thought
So
about.
it's
How
like 10 minutes.
it's like 16 sometimes. Every football game starts
That's
on
wild.
time,
Okay.
which I'd never thought about.
That was very Bill Simmons of you.
What?
It's not 10 minutes, it's 16.
No, they did. Someone did a graph, a chart. Like someone charted it.
it's
Like they
actually
actually did
16.
data.
Okay.
And it was like on the average game is like 11 minutes late or something. Which I never thought about until I'm like, I feel like I'm in a movie. Like I told Jackie we to put this on at 8:30, so I turned it on at 8:20, and it's like 8:40 and the game hasn't started. I'm like, I feel stupid. Anyway.
Yeah, I
No one
went
cares.
to a movie with my buddy the other day. We were like literally 30 minutes late, and
Yeah.
the movie hadn't started. We were like, "What? What the fuck?"
Like, what am I doing? So
What,
yeah, anyway.
what movie did you see?
Black Bag.
Oh, yeah. Did you like it? I thought
Yeah,
it
it was
good.
really good. It was
Yeah.
fun.
It's fun.
But we like legit, we were having dinner beforehand and drinks, and then we had like one more drink, got our bill, and then we had to walk over, and we were just like, oh, we're so fucking late. I think honestly, we sat in our seats like 30 minutes late for the movie, and it was still just all the bullshit that happens before.
Okay, a couple other things here. So last week we were talking about names, and we were talking about the guy Greg, whose parents spelled his name as birth certificate Gerg.
Gerg.
And so his name was Gerg.
Yep.
And I believe we were told on Blue Sky that that we were wrong. The name of the birth certificate was actually Gergery.
Correct.
So it wasn't we regret the error. It was Gergery. It was not Gerg.
It was
great.
great.
Gergery.
Mm-hmm.
So
and then
shout out to Gergery.
He briefly had a career in Hollywood as a stuntman.
Yeah, dude. And then Tom Cruise took his job.
That's right. Tom Cruise was like, I'm
Don't
just
be
going to do that
careful.
myself.
Be competent.
Gerged him.
Tom Cruise might win an Oscar one day, his first Oscar for a stunt. That's now
I will say it's ridiculous that
category.
stunt people don't get Oscars. Yeah, they absolutely should get Oscars.
Totally agree.
They're the only people risking their fucking lives. How are they not getting the awards? I don't know.
Although I believe that the talent won't win the Oscar. I think it is the coordinators who will. But I'm sure Cruise counts as a stunt coordinator at this point.
Yeah. Okay. So Gerg.
Gerg. I like how
Gergery.
immediately after talking about Gerg, we had multiple people email us that were like, I know Gerg.
Yeah. So a lot of people emailed us also to say that Deacon, I missed an opportunity to call Craig Kerg.
Kergery.
Kerg.
I feel
Kirk
like
Horlbeck.
misspelling Gregory is more understandable than misspelling Greg. It's just more letters.
I actually can't explain it, but I agree.
Gergery is
right.
more understandable than misspelling Greg.
Yeah, because you're thinking about the last ending while you're doing it, getting distracted. You're like, how does this end?
But I believe what actually happened was it wasn't the parents who wrote the name down. It was
like
whoever
the doctors did, and then
like
they didn't
filling
notice.
out the birth certificate.
Yeah.
They presented the parents with it. It said Gergery, and they didn't realize that until like 15 years into the guy's life.
Right. So he goes by Greg.
And they decided to keep
Well,
it, but he still goes by Greg. Yeah.
I liked it earlier when I thought he went by
It was funnier
Gerg.
when we thought his name.
Yeah.
He went by Gerg.
Gerg.
Yeah, that was much funnier.
Real heads know him as Gerg.
So this one is from Brian.
B-Bone.
I literally almost dropped my
that's the
phone.
only one that doesn't work.
Yeah.
B-bone.
B-bone.
B-Bone. B-boy.
B-bone. I literally almost dropped my phone during the questions last episode when the Gerg story came up because one of my best friends' birth certificate reads Benton Grieg, G-R-I-E-G-G.
I used to do
Greg.
his full name.
G-R-I... Oh, yeah, shit. Kai, mute that. I shouldn't have read his full fucking name.
Dude, hold on. Here's his social security number, too. Okay.
Mother's made it. Yeah, Kai, mute the fucking
His
last name.
That's fine.
So his middle name is Greg, G-R-I-E-G-G.
Wow.
And the backstory is Grieg is a twin. And I guess, and this is Brian's email, in Kentucky in the 90s, they made you write the baby's name ASAP. But the dad's nervous because the twin sister is now like literally on its way out. So the dad misspells the name. But instead of fixing the spelling when he realized it, the dad just lied for 18 years and said Grieg, G-R-I-E-G-G, was an old family Scottish way of spelling Greg. And just
Lying
told
to
him
your
that his whole
kids.
life.
Yeah.
And on his 18th birthday, the dad handed him an envelope. And in his 18th birthday present was a corrected birth certificate. So he got a corrected birth certificate, and his twin sister got a private plane ride. Those are their birthdays. She got a private plane ride, and he got his birth certificate fixed.
And it's his middle name, you said?
Yes.
I feel like at that point, you got to just own it.
Grieg.
Yeah.
I like it. Greg.
Yeah. His dad's like, oh, it's Scottish.
Greg, can you do the Mike Myers from So I Married an Axe Murderer?
Oh.
Kid.
I think a fat bastard.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, same deal.
So it's all the same. Shrek. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Shrek. Like, I guess all of his Scottish
He
accents.
just loves doing Scottish.
Donkey.
All right. Yeah. So I went to Europe.
You saw Skippy in Europe.
Yeah. I saw your wife
You
in Europe.
freaking
That was
guys
good,
hung
dude.
out without me in Europe.
Dude, we got fucked up.
Assholes.
We
Tushi?
partied.
Yeah.
So I went to, the boat was awesome. But so went to Paris. Jackie was in Geneva like a few years, like she lived in Geneva for a little bit. So we went to Geneva. She showed me around. So then we went to Nice, saw your wife Skippy
Yeah.
and her friend Maggie. And then and Jackie, we made ratatouille. And by we, I mean like Skippy and I got drunk while Maggie and Jackie made
You
ratatouille.
guys- I love that. You guys were in charge of the drinks.
And
And
then-
they were in charge of the dinner.
Yeah. And then I went to Monaco, went to the Grand Prix in Monaco,
Yeah.
the F1
That's
race.
cool. How was that?
Monte Carlo. It was, I'm not gonna lie, it was sick. It was pretty epic.
What was the big takeaway from watching? Was it F1?
F1? Yeah. So the
Yeah.
Monaco Grand Prix And then I went to the Monte Carlo after. I think I'm the first person in human history to make money going to
Did
that
your
race.
eyeball bleed a little? Were you doing like the
What?
James Bond stuff? Like
Like the
playing
Monte
poker or
Carlo?
whatnot?
No, I wish. Le Chiffre, whatever. Yeah.
Le Chiffre, that's it.
Le
yeah.
Chiffre. Love that movie. The Monte Carlo's sick. Won $100 playing blackjack. Did not pay for a
Ooh.
ticket, which was sick. You would appreciate this. I snuck into a ticketed area.
Of course.
And so
Jesus.
I went, like, there was like this place that's called La Roche where you kind of overlook the whole city and you actually can get a really good look at them coming around the harbor. And I snuck in that area, so I didn't pay and just watched it from there. And it was pretty awesome.
Heifetz is wanted by Interpol now.
Yeah, I know. Watch that be the thing that brings the show down. And then it was awesome. I'm not gonna lie, it was really cool. The cars are so loud.
That's what I was going to ask. Is it like, is the number one impression of watching those races just how fucking loud they are?
Unbelievable, dude.
Yeah.
So honestly,
It's
not
like
even watching the
jet
race.
plane.
I trained from Nice. Everyone trains from Nice. No one stays in Monaco because, it's small and there's 1,000 parking spaces in the entire country. So you train in, and I get out of the train station, and it's kind of like Super Bowl level security, but for the entire city. It's so hard to get around. I mean, there's a racetrack in the city and security around the racetrack, so getting around's crazy. I take one step out of the train station, and it's like banshees. It's like, but it's like I'm like far from the track, and it's all you hear anywhere in the city. It's crazy. So yeah, the volume of the car is just like the first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth thing you think about. But honestly, it's just a vibe. It's crazy. You're just walking around. It's just everyone. It was really cool.
How fancy is the clientele?
Okay, I'm glad you asked.
Did you wear a suit?
I wore a nice ass outfit. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay.
I wore a fancy shirt and white pants. My friends make fun of me, call it my Miami cocaine dealer outfit, Miami Vice outfit. But so there was like legitimate just people who come, like F1 fans, like normal people. Then I went to the Monte Carlo, which is a 10-minute walk that took me an hour. Shout out to the people who helped me get there, walked all the way there, and then didn't bring their passports, couldn't gamble, and walked around for an hour in the heat. But I get to the Monte Carlo. I'm sure there is better people watching somewhere in the world, but I don't know where it is. Like the people
That's
watching
awesome.
at the Monte Carlo after the Monaco Grand Prix is like the best people watching you've ever seen. I went on Saturday, so I didn't go for the race. I went for the qualifying because the way F1 works, I'm not an expert, but basically at Monaco, the race, no one passes. It's like cool that it goes through the city, but there's no place to pass the cars.
Right.
So the order of qualifying is more or less the order that you finish the race. So who wins is actually kind of determined in Saturday and qualifying. So I just went to that.
That's interesting. Okay.
And so, because that's really what's going on. And also I was like, I was like in Nice randomly on Saturday night. And I was like, I should go to this. And I was like, Jackie, do you want to go? And she was like, no. And so I was like, well, I'm going to go.
Heifetz just went solo.
So I went
I love
solo.
that.
€5 train.
Wearing his Miami Vice suit.
I brought sunscreen and a portable charger. But I went to the Monte Carlo. It is unbelievable. The Monte Carlo is, I mean, I guess for those who don't know, it's honestly, it's like
Is it on the water?
Yes. It's like if gambling had a Vatican City. I think that's really the best way
like
I was playing
Mecca.
the Monte Carlo. It is like Versailles. It's like this giant room. It is unbelievably ornate. Somehow the minimums for blackjack were $25.
Wow.
So
I was going to ask
know.
that.
So I was a little worried that I
They
wasn't
were
going to be able to play.
50 in New Orleans.
I know, dude. I know. It was less than the fucking Super Bowl. So I fucking sat down. Well, so the guy walked with me. I felt so bad. These guys like walked all the way. Shout out to Wendy and Chris, and they walked all this way. And those guys,
the professional basketball player?
yeah, Wemby, yes, yeah. And so anyway, they give me €50, and they're like, "Can you please just put this on black for me?" And I'll and if I win, Venmo me.
them.
So the first thing I do is I
Were they
do that when I
Americans?
walk in. Yeah, from
Okay.
Philly. And so I do that first thing when I walk in. Win, I'm like that's a good sign.
Mm-hmm.
So then, and it's not like another casino. Like you can't put cash on the table. You have to go and get the cashier and everything. But then I sit down at blackjack and I win quickly and I get a martini and I'm walking around. The first person I meet is this 70-year-old guy. It's like a Belichick situation. He's 70, 75. His wife is 19. And he's like, hey, we're on our honeymoon. And I'm like, oh my, and we're at the craps table. The craps table was not open.
This is this man's third family.
Well, I was like, oh, what are you, dude, I know. So I'm like, what are you doing here? I'm like, oh, I'm here with my fiance. She didn't really want to come. He's like, oh, well, it's not too late to get another one.
Yeah.
Certainly.
I didn't know what to say to that.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, I'm just kidding. And so we start talking about,
wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
yeah. So then, anyway, a lot of very interesting people at the Monte Carlo. But it was
I love that.
unlike any other place I've ever been in my entire life.
I love that you were there alone.
I know. That's the best part.
I'm just sitting there playing blackjack.
Heifetz in his fucking element right there.
It was pretty fucking sick. But yeah, the rest of the trip, honestly, the craziest thing I did in Paris, Jack and I'd been before, so we didn't do the Louvre because we didn't have that much time. And the Louvre is like a monster. I heard that if you saw every piece in the Louvre for 6 seconds and you did not eat, drink, or sleep, it would take you over a week to see everything in the Louvre.
Wow. A week?
Yes. That's
Oh
how
my
much
God.
shit is in. It's the biggest museum in the world. And so instead, we went to the catacombs, and I had Skippy go too.
Mm-hmm.
The catacombs in Paris are one of the craziest things I've ever done in my entire life.
Yeah. The catacomb. What can you explain to me and give me the elevator pitch? Why they have just thousands of skulls and skeletons lining the walls underneath?
Basically, Paris is made of limestone, and so they were mining, and they had too many mines. They just mined too much limestone, but it wasn't organized. So you have mines under roads, and shit was collapsing. So they have this huge problem. And then on the other side, they have we
got all these dead bodies.
All these dead bodies. The cemeteries are overflowing, bones, blood spilling in the markets, mass graves. So nothing's decomposing properly. And it's so someone genius is let's put the fucking bones in the mines. And they do that. And they just shove them all down.
That is so something you'd read from, George Martin or it's like Game of Thrones-esque.
There are millions of bones in the catacombs. It is so unnerving. And it's it's kind of tastefully done because it's surrounded by poetry and all this stuff. But I have never felt my breath better than walking through. My Instagram, you go to my Instagram story. I have just parrot the trip as a highlighted Instagram story. And it's unbelievable. But there's just skulls and the only bones, everything else is kind of dust.
How old are these bones? Are they still contributing bones?
Hundreds of years old.
Oh, okay.
I think they started it in probably the 1600s, but it's mass graves from 1,000 years. It's 1,000 years of skulls and femurs. And someone called it the Temple of Equality. And just the idea that everyone is equal in form of death. And there's, I don't know, it's honestly ego death walking through there. You're oh my God, this is all you end up.
Your death app probably had a blast.
Dude, I did discover
noticed you were there and and it was okay, my work here is done.
Yeah, I was no quotes for today. We don't need one today.
No, there was a good quote. No, there's one quote that was unbelievable. It was a French poem. And
explain the death app in case people don't know what that is.
Oh God. I have an app on my phone called WeCroak. It's the best doll I've ever heard. Shout out Kara Swisher who suggested it. And it just is in Bhutan, they say that contemplating death 5 times a day brings happiness. Kind of like a resetting expectations thing.
It's like nihilism.
Yeah, and I get 5 push notifications every day that are just a quote about death. You prep. It's kind of like, Tom Cruise, competence.
I don't think he's prepping for death at all, actually.
No, he's prepping
trying
to never die.
Yeah.
But there was this quote in the catacombs, and it was this French poem, and it was everything in life, grace, beauty, talent, love, is an ephemeral flower overturned by the slightest wind. And it's literally on a wall of 50 skulls. It's fucking nuts. It's a kilometer of just bones. The walls are made of bones. It's unbelievable.
It's wild.
But no, it was an amazing trip. And then also Skippy taught me rat ball. So we played rat ball.
I've never played. Which
is a drinking game. God, we had the best time. We made Ratatouille, and then we played Rat Ball. And Rat Ball, basically, I don't know what the real rules are, but here's what Skippy did. We put 2 cups on the ground, and we were bowling a lime into the ball off the deck, and then we had to find the cup and then drink and chug. I don't know, but your wife's a great time.
Taken out of context could be weird to say, but I appreciate that.
Heifetz just continues to say, we had a great time.
Yeah. All right, calm down, pal.
Monaco was special. Let's just say that.
a night that I'll never forget.
Yeah.
No, they did. They FaceTimed me from their balcony in Nice. Great time. Or not you guys didn't stay with them, but yeah.
Well,
as far as I know. I mean,
Jackie was there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, but yeah,
she?
Who is she? That's Skippy's line. Every time I'm texting, she goes, "Who is she?" And it's always you guys.
So we got Heifetz and Jackie and Maggie and Skippy. It's kind of a Stefon Diggs situation, maybe. What did they?
Just with the boat. Yeah, Tennessee.
I know, but bottom line, I was very jealous that you guys get to hang out in frickin' Nice.
I know.
Yeah,
What are
the
the
timing
odds?
worked out incredibly.
Yeah.
The timing was pretty crazy. All right. Should we probably get out of here? Oh, we did get a lot of emails about how you've never played a fucking game on your phone.
Yeah. I still
Maybe
haven't.
download one right
Trying to
now.
figure- I'm trying to remember if I was
DK,
lying about that. I don't
Can you
think I was.
download 3 games for me and then give us a
No.
report next week?
Well,
What?
people were like, I was on your side, and then you were like, I've never played Snake on Nokia, and everyone was like, I was out when I
Or
heard
it's like,
that.
all right, fuck this guy.
Yeah.
I was out. I'm just saying. I don't think I've ever played.
I want you to play Fruit Ninja, Cube
Oh,
Runner, and Doodle
Fruit-
Jump.
Fruit Ninja.
God damn
Maybe a Temple Run.
Just listening to those names makes me mad.
Dude, Fruit Ninja is unbelievable.
What was the third one?
Temple Run.
And
Doodle
then what?
Jump.
Doodle Jump makes me physically ill.
Doodle Jump is phenomenal.
Great game.
Huge fan of Doodle Jump.
I'm not trying to be like hoity-toity. I waste a ton of time. All right? I just don't play games.
I waste so much time in
You know
other
how many
ways that make
dynasty
me
leagues
wish.
this man is
Yeah,
in?
I'm not like working out. I'm not doing the whole like influencer thing where I'm like, by the time 6 a.m. rolls around, I'm on day 3.
That's my
That's not me.
favorite clip, I think, in the history of the internet. And we're going to find that for next
Which
week.
one?
Is that
Splitting
guy?
the day up into days.
Yeah, the guy who lives 4 days in every day.
3 a.m. to 8 a.m., that's
Day one. Buddy,
Yeah.
I don't think you know how time works.
I don't think you know what that means.
Yeah, he's like, by 5 p.m., I'm on day 4.
I'm not saying that. I'm wasting time in other ways. Fucking
That's a good thing.
scrolling.
DK, what is your
Doom
favorite video
scrolling.
ever?
My favorite video ever.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
Like from the
that's
internet.
correct. If you could pick one internet video.
And not the ones you watch in the woods.
Yeah.
Mm.
No, yeah.
Oh yeah, man. Hold on. Let me go back through my Rolodex here. The
Favorite
spank
video
bank, if you
ever
will.
is a really hard question.
Oh man, that's a tough question. I'm gonna have to think about that one.
I know mine. It's really
what is it?
dumb. It's really stupid. It's just this dog that's, you know, those little like backpacks people have on their front where you can hold the dog?
Yeah.
Mhm.
This person's on a bike and the dog thinks it's walking.
Oh.
So the person's pedaling and it's this puppy who's like walking in the air
Oh.
and it thinks it's helping. And nothing makes me laugh.
That's
more
your
consist-
favorite video ever.
Yes.
All right.
I just like the dog
I feel like
thinks it's
those are a
walking.
dime a dozen.
Yeah.
You
No,
see
it's the
15 of
best
those a
one.
day.
It's the best one ever. It's just sitting there walking and it thinks it's fucking moving.
They do that all the time. They hold the dogs over like a pool and he paddles
Yeah,
in
it
with
that's
feet.
my
pretends to
favorite
swim.
thing. It thinks it's going. Oh my God. Yeah, that's the best.
I'll try and think of one.
All right. That's probably enough. Thank you, DK. Thank you, Craig. Thank you, Kai. Thank you, Carlos. Thank you, Austin. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Wendy and Chris for getting me to the Monte Carlo.
Did you give him their money?
I did. I sent it to him. I
Man of
Venmoed it to
principle
him.
there. Yeah.
Thank you, Lauren.
Lauren,
Thank you, Selena Gomez.
Nice.
Cinnamon chocolate.
DK, do you consider her more of an actor or a singer in your head?
Singer.
I think she has to be more of an actress now, right?
No, it's actually the opposite.
She's like in
I don't know. She's
I
in a
mean,
lot
can
of
you name
stuff,
a something? Can you name a show or movie she's in versus can you name a single song?
Favorite, or what is it? Favorite, no, murders. What is it?
Only Murders in the Building.
Only Murders in the Building.
All right, can you name one song she's made?
No. Let's see.
You would know them. You
I
would
mean,
know
I
them.
could recognize them. Yeah.
I feel like nobody knows the names to all those like,
Right.
house songs from like the mid 2010s.
Is this a Selena Gomez song? When You're Ready, Come and Get It.
Yes.
Is that a Selena Gomez song?
Yes.
That's the
When
first
you're
one
ready,
I thought
come and get it. Nah, nah, nah.
Yeah,
nah.
yeah, yeah.
Or doesn't she have the "We were sipping whiskey neat"? You know that one? I
Is that her?
had a dream. We were young and 17.
of. Oh, was that her? I didn't know that.
Is that not her?
I mean, I'm not saying that you're wrong.
Oh, yeah. It's It Ain't Me by her and Kygo. That's a good one.
Oh,
God,
dude,
Yeah,
when is
ain't
Kygo
me.
going to make that Christmas album?
You know, somebody told me, was it Kygo or that somebody,
Well,
some like house artist made a Christmas album?
Oh, really? Cher's Christmas album was pretty rocking.
DJ Play a Christmas Song by Cher
yeah.
is a banger.
We need Kygo to just make something that's just like that. Like I want
Yeah.
14 of those.
Just punch that into ChatGPT. That'll make it for you.
Careful what you wish for.
I know. You guys want to get into that?
Craig, don't open Pandora's box. I've never seen a person who's more interested in AI than Heifetz.
That's not true. There's a lot of people more interested
second
in
only
AI
to
than
Sam
me.
Bankman or whatever his name is.
No, you're thinking of Sam.
He's the
Altman.
crypto guy.
Sam Altman. That's
Yeah.
right, sorry.
Although I bet you SBF is into AI.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
That feels right up his alley.
I read the SBF book. Underrated guy. Got a bad rap.
Okay.
You read the book?
Well, Michael Lewis wrote a book about it.
Yeah, you should
It's
do
got
your
it
own
over his
research
head.
on that with SBF, DK.
Yeah, you should do your own
Look
research.
into that.
Mm.
Nanobots.
Nanobots and the
There's something
crypto.
to those.
Yeah.
So if he starts talking about whether birds are real, I'm in.
I
The
still
birds
don't know
aren't
if the-
real conspiracy is my favorite.
I have to just send you guys the clip of Rodgers saying, you heard about this nanobots and the COVID vaccine thing? And Rogan goes, yeah, I don't know about that.
What if Rogan's whole was just turned into that?
Yeah.
I don't
He's
know
like,
about that.
I think that's a little crazy, actually.
Makes you think.
Makes you think.
All right. Goodbye, everyone.